Oh, Newton, thank you so much for coming in.
That's right, absolute pleasure.
Coming
Thank you
on
for
the right
having
note
me.
and playing Dream Catch Me and giving me absolute shivers. What's your relationship like with that song now? Because I mean, it's over 10 years old, right? You
It
released
is,
one
yeah.
time ago.
I mean, I still love playing it. I mean, I kind of immerse myself in whatever I'm doing and try to lose myself in it as much as I can, as much as possible. So it tend to be, yeah, I also tend to play it slightly differently.
Really? Every time, you think?
Not every single time, but it's definitely like I've played it. I mean, I'm on a kind of whole promo run at the moment.
Yeah.
And there's bits that I've taken out, bits that I've put in, and I've kind of just moved odd bits around.
But look, I want to take you back before we talk about the new record. So, back at the beginning, you're a recording artist now for whatever, 10 years?
Yeah.
So, are there milestones? Do you look back? Are there moments when you think that was a particular high point?
There's so many high points looking back, and a lot of them are like last year now. I mean, last year was a really good year because it was an independent release, and it was like a whole different challenge, and I felt like it was so much more mine than anything I'd done before. So I cared more about what the last record did than I did about the album before, because that was kind of, I made it and then I gave it to people and then they had to do stuff. Whereas with this, I felt like it was kind of ours, and it is like it's the family business now. Like my brother and my sister, and we all work together, and it's intense.
And it's your 6th album, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
there's
Over
quite a
10
lot
years.
of albums now.
It's a lot. But when you look back at your career, your albums they're very distinctively different. It's like you've tried to do something different each time, haven't you?
I think I just have a very short attention span, so
Is that what
to
it
whatever I did on one, I don't want to do that again because I've just done it. So I almost react to what I've done, especially if you look at album 4 and album 5 are like polar opposites. Album 4 has nothing on it. It's just vocal and guitar pretty much the whole time. And then album 5 has everything I could possibly think of. I put as many noises on the record as I could find because I felt like I had like a double drum license. Because I had no drums on the album before, so I thought, let's just use double drums on this and see if we can get away with it. And that was, it was great fun. And then with this record, I feel like I do feel like I've found something I've been searching for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big statement for a musician, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it just feels, it's the first album I made that just feels right, and it feels like it's my sound. Whereas before, it's either leant too far in one direction or another, like I was saying, like Studio Zoo had nothing on it. It was too stripped back. Some people that were like big fans of the first record, which was relatively polished, they were like, well, Studio Zoo just doesn't sound finished. It sounds too rough. And other people loved it because it was so kind of honest, and that was cool. And then the other record had so much stuff in it. Some people loved the production because it was so exciting, and other people were like, I can't hear the guitar. Like, what are you doing?
You just can't
So
make
it is
everybody
like,
happy.
Well, until this album, where it does seem that all the people that were complaining about aspects have just stopped and were like, actually, this sounds right.
And you've released it independently, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that come about? Why did you end up doing that?
Well, I was with Sony for a while, like years, and then I did like a label services deal with another label, and I don't know if I'm quite difficult or just the system doesn't quite work for the way that I work, but I must admit, as soon as I didn't have anyone A&Ring a record, I was considerably happier.
Right, interesting.
And I did stuff, and there's stuff that I know if I'd taken it to anyone at a label, they would have said, no, that's weird, stop that. That is now, because it's finished and the idea kind of managed to get fleshed out, it's people's favourite bits of the record, because there is this strange kind of stage in the writing, demoing process where it makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to anyone else. I'm kind of listening to it on potential. I can kind of tell that will be in tune and that will be in time, and then that'll happen there, and there's a noise underneath which is going to come in on like bar 67. And I know that, but when you're trying to kind of sell a song to a label, and there's stuff that, there's stuff that I would have loved to have put on records before, which I only got to put on this record. I'm really glad I kind of trusted myself enough to kind of go with, because there's some strange moments on this album. There's like Carry You is like a kind of like Gregorian Beach Boys. It's bizarre.
That sounds great.
Oh, it's really fun. And yeah, I chased some very strange, some very strange rabbit holes I ended up going down in terms of recording and experimenting with sounds and instruments as well. I got to play loads of stuff.
But then does that make you sort of reconsider your career before now? Like at points where people interfered or within sort of that music label business infrastructure, were there points when maybe you think you would have been better off without it?
Probably, but at the same time, it wouldn't have led me to this point. And this point, I think, is kind of, it's exactly the right thing at the right time. Whereas if I'd done this before, it would have been the right thing, but it wouldn't have been the right time. And also being through everything that I've kind of been through and making the records I've been through and having the artistic differences with the people I've had artistic differences with, and learning stuff from people I wouldn't have worked with without a major label. It's kind of it all goes together. It's all part of the kind of fragments that I've constructed the record out of. So I kind of needed them all.
But when do you think you need to listen to somebody else's opinion and never?
No, there's definitely a place for. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that I thought could be really good, and then I played it to people, and they were like, "No, that is horrible. You've got mental," which I definitely did, because I get really carried away in the studio.
Yeah, right.
I love early mornings. I really like getting in and getting on it, but sometimes I'll do like a 24-hour studio day, if not longer.
So who are the people who can sort of tell you that now? If you're not working within a label, there isn't an A&R person, who are the people that can go, that's shit, that's good?
Well, I've got different people that I bounce things in different areas off. So I've got like some hardcore music nerds. Then I'm like, oh, check this out. This is some scientific shit going down. And sometimes I go down kind of that route. And then if I'm trying to get on the radio, then there's other people that I kind of bounce stuff off, because I'm like, does it tick that box? Does it tick that demographic? Does it work for this? Does it work for that? And I've kind of got little kind of sections.
You kind of pick and choose those people then,
yeah.
do you? So I'm thinking if there's young artists watching this and, they're wondering whose advice to take on board, I mean, what would you say to them?
It is so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell who to trust. And there is this thing about kind of sticking true to your art, but then also is an element of compromise at certain points. And whether it is tricky, because what I want to be able to say is never compromise and just completely stick to your guns. And there's a whole group of people that would be like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But there's also, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have made 6 albums. I wouldn't have been able to if I'd been like, no, I'm not doing that because I don't want to. I mean, it is. If you want a career, you kind of need to play the game at certain points to make it like a viable option. So you really, it's all about kind of picking your battles. And there's songs like Dream Catch Me. I wasn't sure if I wanted it on the first record.
Really?
Because I thought it was a bit normal.
Wow.
And there's stuff like that where it's like if I'd stuck to my guns, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe I would. I don't know. Maybe I'm. Yeah, who knows?
You're going to be here for Blues Fest at Byron Bay.
Wait.
You like that festival?
Some of my favourite memories of all time are I saw like 10cc and Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Wow.
They were unbelievable. And I'm trying to think, who else was it? Not Isaac Hayes. I always do this. It was Chris Isaacs. I always mix them together to make Chris Isaac Hayes, who's not a real
But maybe if we got them
character.
to play together.
That would be beautiful. We should do that.
All the Isaacs up there.
Think of how much range they cover.
Oh, it's pretty
From
impressive.
to hey baby, it's great.
Yeah,
I think
actually.
they should do it.
You have also an incredible range, though. You could probably hit all those notes as you just did in one show. So they don't need to see the Isaacs; they just need to go see you.
Maybe I should do like a concept show and just do a bit of both of the.
I would go to see that. I would not be the only one. But yes, you're gonna be here doing Blues Fest, and then
Yes.
you're also doing a little tour.
Yeah,
for
a bunch
us.
of sideshows as well, and we're doing.
You're going to start in Sydney, I believe.
Yep, 1st of April at the Factory will be the first gig.
Excellent.
And the last.
Well, I know you're going on to Newcastle.
Yep.
You're doing Melbourne, which is also a great music town.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Adelaide and Perth.
Covering
that's-
a lot of ground.
Just getting it. Nearly all of it.
The last tour was by far my favourite tour I've ever done.
Really. What did you enjoy about it?
I think it's just the setup, and it's this material. I was really careful with making sure it works acoustically, and it works with the guitar and a voice, and that's all it needs. Because in the past, when I kind of got way deep into production, there are songs that, well, like Up and Away was a single, and then when it came to like doing it on the radio, I was like, I did not think this through. This is completely physically impossible. Because the guitar part is really kind of tappy and all over the place. But then the guitar just stayed in the same place, and then I added chords on something else. And then I was trying to like add the chord and I was like,
Just
I can't.
overcomplicating it.
Yeah, I really did. So with this one, I wanted to make sure everything kind of translated straight away. And I just watched hundreds and hundreds of acoustic performances by all kinds of different artists to try and work out what was kind of, what works and what translates. And I think that's where the kind of slightly more kind of soulful vocals came into it, because I was like, what's the most like powerful type of single like vocal performance live? And it was that kind of soul-y, like gospel-y thing. And I could do it, but I just hadn't done it on records. And I mean, stuff like kind of Fingertips and Hit the Ground, I wouldn't have been able to sing like even 3 years ago would have been a challenge.
Right. So have you done something different to your voice? What have you done to
I've
stretch
done
it?
a huge amount of work.
Right. Excellent. And we're going to see that live when you're here.
Yeah.
And you're also going to perform 2 new songs for us off this
Yes.
new album. So the new album is called Hit the Ground Running.
Hit the
am I
Ground Running, and
correct?
there's a song called Hit the Ground Running as well.
Yes. And what else are you playing for us?
I was going to do Fingertips.
Excellent. Well,
which
thank
is
you so
probably
much.
the souliest. I think that's the souliest thing I've ever done.
Thank you so much. It's your Isaac Hayes moment, is it? Thank you for playing for us. Thank you for chatting to me. It's great to get an insight into your creation and the creation of this new record. And we will see you in a very short period of time when you're touring here.
I'll be back.
So thank you, Newton.
Pleasure. Thank you.